Welcome back sa isa na namang linggo ng Pretty Petty the Podcast. I'm your host, Tito Alvin, and in this podcast, we talk about the hottest topics, trending issues, and everything pretty and petty. Kung first time mo dito, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button and the notification bell para notified ka sa mga bagong episodes. Kung sa Spotify ka naman nakikinig, you can follow our podcast sa Spotify by going back to the main page, then click nyo lang yung follow button. You may also follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok by going to the link you see at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so before tayo mag-deep dive sa mga personalities and conspiracy theories na lumalaganap sa internet, pag-usapan muna natin. Ano ba talaga ang PGMN? Kasi the past few months, parang hindi ka pwedeng mag-scroll sa political content nang hindi mo sila nakikita. Whether supporter ka, isa kang critic, or neutral, or napadaan ka lang habang naghahanap ng mga videos ng pusang sumasayaw o nagluluto. Somehow, lalabas at lalabas sila sa algorithm mo. At alam mo naman sa internet, kapag may media platform na biglang malaki ang reach, automatic, may dalawang factions yan. O may dalawang reactions yan. Yung isang reaction is nagsasabing, finally, isang alternative media and hindi mainstream. And yung second reaction is, bakit parang may favorite na political family tayo dito? So, ano nga ba ang PGMN or Peanut Gallery Media Network? Ang PGMN ay isang online media network and political commentary platform na gumagawa ng live streams, interviews, discussions, podcasts, and political content, mostly online. They position themselves as alternative media platform, and in some of their branding and messaging, they talk about things like free speech, political discussion, pagbibigay ng platform sa mga voices na feeling nila hindi napapakinggan ng mainstream media. And to be fair, hindi naman bago yung concept na yan. Worldwide, hindi lang sa Pilipinas. Ang dami ng alternative media spaces because people feel that traditional media can sometimes be biased or selective or somewhat disconnected. Pero syempre, ang tanong is, alternative media ba talaga? Or alternative perspective lang? Kaya pinag-uusapan ang PGMN is because habang lumalaki ang reach nila, na pinagmamalaki na nila na almost 1 billion lifetime views, mas dumadami din kasi yung tanong tungkol sa kanilang political positioning, audience at messaging. Kasi online, kapag paulit-ulit mo na narinig mo yung pare-parehong themes, pare-parehong talking points, same political angles, eventually you will start to notice na parang may mali dito. Okay, so clear na tayo kung ano ang PGMN. Ang next logical question is, sino ang mga taong nasa likod ng PGMN? So, ang Peanut Gallery Media Network or PGMN, it was co-founded by Franco Mabanta. Yes, that Franco Mabanta na pag-uusapan natin mamaya kasi girl, meron siyang sariling segment. Alam niyo lang medyo spicy kapag meron kang sariling segment sa podcast. So this network Franco Mabanta co-founded position itself as the alternative media platform, meaning hindi traditional newsroom ang atake. Yung setup, hindi parang TV Patrol style journalism. More on digital style content sila. More on live streams, political discussions, interviews, podcasts, short form videos, commentaries, mga long form conversations. And kung napapadaan ka sa content nila, mapapansin mo rin na may mga recurring personalities and hosts, mga familiar faces na usually discussing politics, current events, governance, and of course, yung drama sa Philippine politics. Kasi let's be honest, minsan, mas entertaining pa ang political landscape natin kaysa sa mga palabas sa TV. Pero ito yung interesting part, no? Ang appeal ng ganitong platform is, no, yung feeling mo kasama ka sa usapan nila. Medyo less formal, less corporate, less scripted. Hindi siya newsroom energy na may dramatic music tapos may breaking news.
Sa ulo ng mga nagbabagang balita.
Walang ganoon. Okay? More like, tara, usap tayo. Pero medyo political. Which to be fair, no, gets people really invested. Myself included. Aminin ko sa inyo, the first time that PGMN broke the internet, I was hooked. Gusto ko yung content nila. And then eventually, napansin ko na it's just a facade. So I started to disconnect from that page or from PGMN entirely. Ngayon, going back, no, kapag lumalaki ang audience mo, tulad nung nangyari sa kanila, lumalaki rin ang tanong ng mga tao. Kapag media ka ba, kahit digital media like PGMN, meron ka bang responsibility na maging balanced? Or okay lang na maging opinionated basta transparent yung pinanggagalingan ng storya? So ito na nga, no, bago ko simulan itong very intriguing conversation na ito. Mag-disclaimer lang ako, no, bago nyo ko awayin sa comment section. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, public perception, criticism, at publicly available information. So, relax lang kayo dyan. No? Wala akong sinasabi dito na sariling opinion ko lang. Lahat to galing din sa mga tao sa internet. Okay? Okay. So, ito na nga. Isa sa mga biggest criticism surrounding PGMN is this question. Independent media ba talaga sila? O medyo obvious na may political side? Kasi, again, like what I mentioned a while ago, if you spend enough time watching the content, and again, this is not just my observation, but many critics online, mapapansin mong may mga recurring narratives, may mga recurring political themes, may mga recurring political personalities na very familiar sa isang particular political ecosystem. And enter dito ang term na madalas mo marinig online, which is, quote-unquote, DDS adjacent. Meaning, according sa mga critics, may perception na ang content, messaging, audience, and political framing tends to lean towards the narrative favorable to the Duterte camp or circles associated with it. Again ha, perception and criticism ito. Hindi tayo gumagawa ng teleserye facts dito. Pero syempre, kung may critics, may defenders din. Sa side naman ng mga supporters, sinasabi nila is, lahat naman ng media bias. And to be fair, may point naman, no? Kasi, let's be honest, whether mainstream media or independent creator ka, isa kang vlogger, podcaster, or isa kang tito sa YouTube at Facebook na ginagawang personality ang politics, everybody has a perspective. The bigger question becomes, at what point nagiging propaganda ang content? Is it when paulit-ulit ang narrative? Is it when one side is always framed better than the other? Or is it when criticism only goes to one direction? Or kapag hindi mo lang gusto yung political opinion ng kausap mo, propaganda na ba ang tawag doon? Because let's be real, dito sa Pilipinas, minsan ang definition ng biased, quote-unquote, hindi siya kampi sa akin. And you know, ang bilis nating lahat gumamit ng word na propaganda these days. Pero kung media platform ka, no, traditional man yan or digital, no, enough na bang sabihin mong this is our opinion? Opinion namin to eh. Or meron ka bang responsibility to challenge your own side? Kasi doon nagsisimula ang credibility. Hindi sa lakas ng boses, hindi sa dami ng views, hindi sa confidence habang naka-mic, kundi sa willingness mong ma-question kahit ang sarili mong audience, kahit ang sarili mong paniniwala. So, after all that, anong takeaway natin dito? Honestly, depende kung sino ang tatanungin mo. Kasi kung supporter ka ng PGMN, ang tingin mo, finally, no, merong alternative media na hindi mainstream. Pero kung critic ka naman, baka ang tingin mo dito is, this is not alternative media. This is just alternative way para i-package ang politics. Paano ba natin dinedefine ang credibility nowadays? Sa panahon ng podcast, live streams, no, online content, hindi mo kailangan ng newsroom para magkaroon ng audience. Hello, nakikinig kayo sa akin ngayon. You are my audience. Hindi ko kailangan ng newsroom. At nag-iisa lang ako. Marami pa kami. Nagigets mo? Ang kailangan mo lang minsan, microphone, confidence, at malakas na wifi. At magaling na editor. Yan. At minsan, confidence lang talaga. Pero real talk, kung lahat may bias, paano mo malalaman kung informed ka or nabiktima ka lang ng algorithm? Now, speaking of people behind the scenes, no, isa sa mga biggest names connected sa PGMN is someone na recently found himself in headlines for a very different reason. Let's talk about Franco Mabanta. Okay, so now let's talk about one of the names na medyo impossible nang ihiwalay sa PGMN conversations. No? Again, we're talking about Franco Mabanta. Kung narinig mo na yung name niya, pero hindi mo masyadong gets bakit siya relevant. Honestly, medyo behind the scenes kasi yung character niya. Medyo behind the camera ang peg nitong si Kuya for the longest time. Si Franco Mabanta is known as a political strategist, digital operator, and communications guy. Kumbaga, isa siya sa mga personalities na hindi mo lang laging nakikita sa harap ng stage. Pero minsan, siya yung tumutulong gumawa ng script, no? Siya yung tumutulong na umusad yung show. He became publicly known largely through his work in political campaigns and messaging, particularly in digital and social media strategy. He also had a connection in the Marcos political ecosystem, including a brief stint link sa digital communications noong 2018 at naging associated din siya sa isang mas malawak na campaign conversations ni BBM noong 2022. Ngayon, bakit siya highly discussed recently? It's because many people associated him with Duterte-aligned political circles and eventually with PGMN. So parang ang branding niya is political plus digital influence plus political connections. And alam niyo naman, pag Philippine politics, kapag nasa likod ka ng messaging, minsan mas powerful ka pa kaysa sa taong nasa harap ng kamera. Kasi at the end of the day, ang mas importante ay yung naratibo. Kung sino ang magaling mag-frame ng kwento, minsan sila ang nananalo sa internet. At speaking of kwento, no, doon tayo sa reason bakit biglang nasa headlines itong si Franco Mabanta. Just a quick disclaimer, ito ay based again on publicly reported allegations, statements from authorities, and public responses. Kaya yung mga keyboard warriors dyan, hinay-hinay lang kayo. Around early May, nagulat ang maraming tao when reports came out that Franco Mabanta and several others were arrested in an NBI entrapment operation. Sabi ng authorities, this involved an alleged extortion complaint connected to former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. According sa NBI's version of events, ang allegation was this. Meron daw umanong planned video expose or documentary involving Martin Romualdez, and authorities said there were allegations of money being demanded in exchange for allegedly not releasing the material. Initial reports mentioned figures ranging from 300 million to 350 million. According to authorities, merong entrapment operation with undercover coordination and what authorities describe as marked money. Eventually, nag-lead yan sa arrests. May mga videos pa yan, no? Videos ng operation nila. Kumalat yan online. Pero, on the other side, Franco Mabanta and his camp denied the allegations, saying they were innocent. And they are describing everything as a setup. Their legal camp also publicly questioned the strength of the complaint and the evidence. So, ang importante lang natandaan dito, allegations are not convictions. Tama naman. Pero alam mo naman ng internet, once andyan na ang issue, people will start connecting dots. Bata pa lang tayo, nagko-connect na tayo ng dots eh. So ngayon, people will use that into practice. And once the internet starts making conclusions, good luck na lang sa inyo. Kasi kapag nasa headlines ka, public opinion starts moving faster than our court system. And we all know, ang opinion ng mga tao, mabilis kumalat yan. Now, naturally, after the arrest issue, bakit laging idinidikit ang pangalan ni Franco Mabanta sa mga Duterte? And to be fair, hindi naman ito galing lang sa bula. No? Publicly, Franco Mabanta has long been associated with the political messaging and personalities connected to the Duterte political ecosystem. Whether through public appearances, content spaces, interviews, or political circles, visible ang association niya with the Duterte family over the years. And syempre, hindi rin natin pwedeng i-ignore ang PGMN connection. Because for many critics, the network itself became associated with Duterte-aligned narratives, or at least audiences perceived to overlap heavily with DDS circles. Minsan sa politics, hindi mo kailangan ng official title para maging influential. You don't need to be elected. You don't need to hold office. Sometimes, all it takes is access, messaging, and influence. Alam mo naman sa Philippine politics, relationship matters. Kung sino ang malapit kanino, sino ang may access, sino ang may influence over narratives. And politics has always been about two things: power and perception. Minsan, mas powerful pa ang perception kesa sa actual position. Kasi sa politics, hindi lang naman elected officials ang may influence. Minsan, ang pinakamalakas ang impact ay yung mga taong hindi mo naman binoto, pero somehow may epekto sa narratives, messaging at public opinion. Yung mga strategists, yung mga operators, the people behind the scenes. People like Franco Mabanta, for example. Kasi let's be honest, hindi naman lahat ng power nasa pwesto. Sometimes power looks like access, connections, and influence. And maybe that's why stories like this gets people talking. Kasi kapag power, influence, and political drama ang nagsama-sama, hindi pwedeng hindi yan pag-uusapan. At alam mo naman tayo, favorite nating pagchismisan ang politika. So, before we end this episode, I want to leave this question to all of you. Sa panahon ng live streams, podcast, algorithms, at digital media, sino ba talaga ang may power? Yung mga taong nasa pwesto o yung mga tao sa likod na may hawak ng naratibo? Alright, so diyan ko na i-end ang episode na ito kasi medyo mahaba na. Hindi ko in-expect na ganito hahaba to. Please don't forget to like and share this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow nyo na rin yung podcast sa Spotify. You can also follow our social media pages on Facebook, and Instagram, and in TikTok by going to the link you see at the bottom of their screen, or just go to linktr.ee/PrettyPettyThePodcast. Kung isa kang brand and you're looking for brand partnership and collaboration, please send me an email at prettypettythepodcast@gmail.com. And with that, lagi nating tatandaan to always stay pretty at huwag maging petty. Bye-bye!